21. The Viharapalas prepare lodging for the great sage. Lingji of Sumeru crushes the wind demon. We shall now tell about those 50 defeated little demons who rushed into the cave carrying their broken drums and torn banners. Great King, they cried. The tiger vanguard was no match for the hairy-faced monk. That monk chased him down the eastern slope until the vanguard disappeared. When the old monster heard this, he was terribly upset. As he bowed his head in silent deliberation, another little demon who stood guard at the door came to report. Great King, the tiger vanguard was beaten to death by the hairy-faced monk and dragged up to our door to provoke battle. Hearing this, the old monster became even angrier. This fellow does not know when to stop. He said, I have not eaten his master, but he has killed our vanguard instead. How insolent! Whereupon he bellowed, Bring me my armor. I have heard only rumors about this pilgrim's son, and I'm going out there to find out what sort of monk he really is. Even if he has 9 heads and 8 tails, I'm going to take him in here to pay for the life of my tiger vanguard. The little demons quickly brought out the armor. After having been properly buckled and laced, the old monster took a steel trident and leapt out of the cave, leading the rest of the demons. Standing in front of the door, the great sage watched the monster emerge with a truly aggressive appearance. Look how he is attired. You see, gold helmet reflecting the sun, gold cuirass gleaming with light. A pheasant tail tassel flies from the helmet. A light yellow silk robe topped by the cuirass, tied with a dragon-like sash of brilliant hues. His breastplate emits eye-dazzling light. His boots of suede are dyed by locust flowers. His embroidered kilt is decked with willow leaves. Holding a sharp trident in his hands, he seems almost the Arlong boy of old. When he had come out, the old monster shouted, Who is Pilgrim's son? With one foot on the carcass of the tiger monster and the compliant iron rod in his hands, Pilgrim replied, Your grandpa's son is here. Send my master out. The old monster took a careful look and saw the diminutive figure of Pilgrim, less than 4 feet, in fact, and his sallow cheeks. He said with a laugh, Too bad. Too bad. I thought you were some kind of invincible hero. But you are only a sickly ghost, with nothing more than your skeleton left. Child, said Pilgrim laughing. How you lack perception. Your grandpa may be somewhat small in size, but if you have the courage to hit me on the head with the handle of your trident, I'll grow 6 feet at once. Harden your head, said the monster, and have a taste of my handle. Our great sage was not in the least frightened. When the monster struck him once, he stretched his waist and at once grew more than 6 feet, attaining the height of 10 feet altogether. The monster was so alarmed that he tried to use his trident to hold him down, shouting, Pilgrim's son, how dare you stand at my door, displaying this paltry magic of body protection? Stop using tricks. Come up here and let's measure our real abilities. My dear son, said Pilgrim with laughter. The proverb says, mercy should be shown before the hand is raised. Your grandpa is pretty heavy-handed, and he fears that you won't be able to bear even 1 stroke of this rod. Refusing to listen to any such discussion, the monster turned his trident around and stabbed at Pilgrim's chest. The great sage, of course, was not at all perturbed, for as the saying goes, the expert is never exercised. He raised his rod and, using the movement of the black dragon sweeping the ground, to parry the trident, struck at the monster's head. The two of them thus began a fierce battle before that yellow wind cave. The Monster King became enraged. The great sage released his might. The Monster King became enraged, wishing to seize Pilgrim to pay for his vanguard. The great sage released his might to capture this spirit and to save the priest. The trident arrived, blocked by the rod. The rod went forth, met by the trident. This one, a mountain-ruling captain of his hosts. That one, the handsome Monkey King who defends the law. At first they fought on the dusty earth. Then each arose midway to the sky. The fine steel trident, pointed, sharp, and brilliant. The compliant rod, body black and yellow hoops. Stabbed by them, your soul goes back to darkness. Struck by them, you'll face King Yama. You must rely on quick arms and keen sight. You must have a tough frame and great strength. The two fought without regard for life or death. We know not who will be safe or who will be hurt. The old monster and the great sage fought for 30 rounds, but neither could gain the upper hand. Pressing for a quick victory, Pilgrim decided to use the trick of the body beyond the body. He tore from himself a handful of hairs that he chewed to pieces in his mouth. Spitting them out, he cried, "Change." They changed at once into more than 100 pilgrims, all having the same appearance and all holding an iron rod. They surrounded the monster in midair. Somewhat alarmed, the monster also resorted to his special talent. He turned to face the ground to the southwest and opened his mouth 3 times to blow out some air. Suddenly a mighty yellow wind arose in the sky. Dear wind. It was indeed powerful. Cold and whistling, it changed heaven and earth. As yellow sand whirled without form or shape, it cut through woods and hills to break pines and plums. It tossed up dirt and dust, cracking crags and cliffs. Waves churned in yellow river to cloud its floor. Tide and current swelled up at River Xiang. The Pole Star Palace in the blue sky shook. The Hall of Darkness was almost blown down. The 500 arhats all yelled and screamed. The 8 guards of Obaya all cried and shrieked. Manjusri's green-haired lion ran away. Vivabhadra lost his white elephant. Snake and turtle of Jinwu left their fold. Aflutter were the saddle flaps of Zitong's mule. Traveling merchants sent their cries to heaven. And boatmen bowed to make their many vows. Their mist-like lives awash in rolling waves. Their names, their fortunes, adrift in the tide. Caves on Genie mountains were black as pitch. The Isle of Penglai was gloomy and dark. Laozi could not tend his elixir oven. Age Star folded his fan of grapevine leaves. As Queen Mother went to the peaches feast, the wind blew her skirt and pins awry. Arlang lost his way to the Guangzhou town. Na-A found it hard to pull out his sword. Li Jing missed the pagoda in his hand. Lu Ban dropped his golden-headed drill, while 3 stories of thunderclap fell down. The stone bridge at Zhaozhou broke in twain. The orb of the red sun had little light. The stars of all heaven grew obscure and faint. Birds of south mountains flew to northern hills. Water of east lakes spilled over to the west. Fowls with mates broke up, they ceased their calls. Mothers and sons parted, their cries turned mute. Dragon kings sought yak as all over the sea. Thunder gods hunted lightnings everywhere. 10 kings of Yama tried to find their judge. In hell, Bullhead ran after Horseface. This wind blew down the Potalaka Mount and whipped up one scroll of Guanying's verse. White lotus blooms, cut down, flew beside the sea. 12 halls of the Bodhisattva were blown down. From Pangu till this time since wind was known. There never was wind with such ferocity. Hu-la-la. The universe did almost split apart. The whole world was one mighty trembling mass. This violent wind called up by the monster blew away all those little pilgrims formed by the great sage's hairs, and sent them reeling through the air like so many spinning wheels. Unable even to wield their rods, how could they possibly hope to draw near to fight? Pilgrim was so alarmed that he shook his body and retrieved his hairs. He then lifted the iron rod and tried to attack the monster all by himself, only to be met by a mouthful of yellow wind right on his face. Those 2 fiery eyes, with diamond pupils of his, were so blasted that they shut tightly and could not be opened. No longer able to use his rod, he fled in defeat while the monster retrieved the wind, which we shall mention no further. We tell you now about Ju 8 Rules, who, when he saw the violent yellow windstorm arriving and the whole of heaven and earth growing dim, led the horse and took the luggage to the fold of the mountain. There he crouched on the ground and refused to open his eyes or raise his head, his mouth incessantly calling on the name of Buddha and making vows. As he was wondering how Pilgrim was faring in his battle and whether his master was dead or alive, the wind stopped and the sky brightened again. He looked up and peered toward the entrance of the cave, but he could neither see any movement of weapons nor hear the sound of gongs and drums. Idiot dared not approach the cave, since there was no one else to guard the horse and the luggage. Deeply distressed and not knowing what to do, he suddenly heard the great sage approaching from the west, grunting and snorting as he came. Bowing to meet his companion, he said, "Elder brother, what a mighty wind! Where did you come from?" With a wave of his hand, Pilgrim said, "Formidable. It's truly formidable. Since I, Old Monkey, was born, I have never witnessed such a violent wind. That old monster fought me with a steel trident, and we battled for over 30 rounds. It was then that I used the magic of the body beyond the body and had him surrounded. He panicked and called up this wind, which was ferocious indeed. Its force was so overwhelming that I had to suspend my operation and flee instead. You. What a wind. You. What a wind." Old Monkey also knows how to call up the wind and how to summon the rain, but it's hardly as vicious as the wind of this monster spirit. "Elder brother," said 8 Rules, "how is the martial technique of that monster?" "It's presentable," said Pilgrim. "And he knows how to use the trident. He is, in fact, just about the equal of Old Monkey."